Hello fellow YouTubers and welcome. Today I'm looking at the Oland, the Tier 8 Pan-European destroyer. She's kind of a mixed bag of decent guns, very decent guns, not very long range but very decent, range of 10.1, and solid torpedoes, pretty solid torpedoes, 12-kilometer range on those. We're on the map estuary. What I'm going to do is guide you through a few different maps and show you the pros and cons of using this ship. Now, what we found ourselves with here was an enemy team pushing up the right flank very hard. About half their team was coming our way, and they had a Jaeger who was lighting us whilst staying concealed. Very clever. Right, using his 5.4 detect. Now the Oland has 5.8 detect, so I'm just putting some shells down on the Kidakaze and I'm running. At this stage I wasn't aware of the Jaeger, but I was being cautious because, as you can see from the mini-map, there are a lot of enemy ships on this flank and two more joining. We've got a Kansas and a Lenin pushing up along with an Illinois. So these are things to be concerned about. We also hadn't detected all the ships. Now you see those torpedoes rushing along there?
Torpedoes to port.
That was the first time I noticed we had a Jaeger here. Because he remained very stealthy. He's a very good player, knows what he's doing. Very stealthy. He pushed the entire flank, lighting all the targets, and got everybody killed. So myself and the Oraj, we had to withdraw. We did manage to keep the Kidakaze lit. I did some damage on the Kidakaze, and eventually we got him down. But what I decided to do in the end was set an ambush at this island for the Jaeger, because there's no way I can out-detect a Jaeger. However, he's going to be pretty keen to capture our base. So I'm thinking this would be a great time to lay an ambush, hide behind the island and wait for him to turn up. There's a Kansas and an Illinois out there, two enemy battleships. But they are much slower than we are. As you can see from the team scores, we've only got half their ship numbers. We did really badly. Team Red absolutely destroyed us. And I've x-rayed the Jaeger. He's right there. And I'm just going to have a little peek behind the island here, and I have a look and see where the two battleships are. If they're not too close, great. If they're really close, then I'm going to have to run. Look, there's the Kansas. No sign of the Illinois. There's the Illinois. Okay. Now that tells me that we can do this. So what we're going to do is, what I do next is I push up and I fire on the Jaeger. So we just move to here. I'm using the island to shield me from the two battleships. I then turn in to avoid his torpedoes, and I get in with all my torpedoes in the side. A bit late now, but that's a weakness of the Oland right there. We've got 5.8 detect. If a Jaeger comes along, and you will see quite a lot of Jaegers at your tier, unfortunately, because you get tier 9 and tier 10 matchmaking as a tier 8. You do find yourself more often than not in games where there are tier 9s and occasionally tier 10s. So use the islands. It's really important to use the islands with the Oland. Now I was able to extract, I was able to get away, and I was able to put some torpedoes out. But unfortunately, the Illinois is closing on our position. And at this stage, he's quite fast. He does, what, 34 knots? Our base speed is around the 36 knot mark. And that is not really enough to get away effectively. And we're out of speed boost. Speed boost can get you to around 40 knots. But unfortunately, we don't have any left. So I was left in this rather silly situation. Now the torpedoes, I've got very good range, 12 kilometers. They're very fast, 76 knots, okay? Very hard to avoid, but, and here's the problem, they don't hit very hard. They do about 10k each, and of course the Illinois got like 40% damage reduction on torpedoes, on his torpedo belt. So, we need a little bit of luck to do some decent damage. Now the torps look good, but he's an American battleship, and you can see he's already turning in. And he is able to avoid all of those because he's got really good rudder shift. Okay. So I'm going to show you now exactly what's going to happen if we YOLO in Illinois, okay? Which is exactly what I end up doing in my frustration, because this game was horrendously hard. There are only 2 ships left at the end of it, myself and the Blucher. And the Blucher wasn't looking like he was going to be helping me anytime soon, so we're going straight at the Illinois. I thought this would be a good example for the video too, to give you an idea. And we're literally going to put all 6 torpedoes into him. Now, here we go. And there we go, all launched. And every single one of them hits. Now, unfortunately, he's got cruiser guns, and he took us down. He's got a lot of cruiser guns, about 12 of them to be precise, with a very fast reload. And unfortunately, our torpedoes, as you can see from the damage, weren't enough to take him down. Had we been in a Japanese torpedo boat, that would have been a totally different ballpark. We would have easily taken them down with 4 of our 8. Easily. Maybe 5. It might have taken 5. But my point is, you can't YOLO enemy warships in the Oland unless it's a cruiser or a destroyer. If you try YOLOing a battleship, 9 times out of 10, he's going to do exactly what Illinois did to us. And he's going to completely destroy you.
Let's get to it.
So, starting a new map, new match, and what I'm doing here is I'm going into B, and I'm lighting targets for the team. Now, the Oland does have a 5.8 detect, which makes her a pretty good spotter. Not the best spotter, but she's a decent spotter. We're up against an Akatsuki and a Trento coming into the cap. There's the Akatsuki. We do technically outgun the Akatsuki because our DPM, our HE DPM, is the second highest in the game at Tier 8. The highest Tier 8 DPM, the Akatsuki. The Akatsuki's gunboat buddy or brother. That Japanese gunboat is the highest HE DPM at Tier 8. Our AP isn't too shabby either. It's just tails behind the Z23. And we come in at number 5 in the charts for AP damage. So don't forget your AP, okay? AP is actually quite useful. But HE is your bread and butter. And you've only got 10-kilometer gun range. But your guns fire very fast. The base is 2.3 seconds. And look, the Trento's pushing me. I can't believe the Trento's pushing me. He still hasn't spotted me yet. Now I'm lit. I'm lit by the Lexington's planes. It's a CV game. We've got subs to worry about as well. But Trento's not looking at me. So we're just going to send those 76 knot torps into Trento. Look at his health pool. Bear in mind he hasn't got torpedo protection like a battleship. And you just know this is going to be a juicy dev strike. Kaboosh. Okay. So, yes, you can take out cruisers at close range with your torpedoes and do American-style island ambushes, okay? That is doable. And as you can see from the way I'm chewing up these planes from the Lexington, with a little help from our defensive AA fire booster, we can actually take quite a few planes out with our AA. And I would suggest you do that. It's a good idea to flick between AA on and AA off to help to basically take the threat away from the fleet and bring it onto you. I'm much happier, even though he hit me with that torpedo, I'm much happier. We can heal, you see, we have heals.
Problem solved, sir.
And the heals are quite good on this ship, 3k. But I'm much happier taking the heat for the fleet than having a poor battleship getting trolled by a Lexington or a cruiser getting trolled by a Lexington. We can handle it. We can shoot his planes down. There aren't many ships in the game that can actually do that. The Oland is one of them. She's not the best at it. Okay. But we certainly can take the planes out wherever possible. And now we're going to chase down the Akatsuki because we can handle torpedo boats. We can definitely outgun torpedo boats, okay? The only ship that outguns us at closer ranges is the Akatsuki. And anyone else, it's all a case of who got the drop. Okay, Lexington comes in, moves away. Okay, dealing with the planes. Again, I'm shooting planes down. I've so far shot 18 planes down. Okay, let's make that 20. So, first 5 minutes of the game and we've already shot 20 planes down for the team. Because our AA goes all the way out to 6 kilometers, right? Now, I do advise you do turn it off when you don't want to be lit by planes. But when you don't care, when the enemy fleet, check your mini-map regularly, when the enemy fleet is at distance and you are sure that you're not under threat, there's no reason at all to not clear the skies of that cancerous plane filth, okay? So do use your AA when applicable. Do turn it off when you want to stay dark, okay? Just common sense, really, but this ship is actually quite good. Now we're going to try and get some fires on the Nagato with the HE. And you can see the shell arcs are manageable. Out to about 9-10 kilometers, they get a little bit floaty, but the actual shell arcs aren't bad at all. I kind of underestimated this ship when I first got her. I must admit, I've kind of grown to enjoy her ability to do 2 different tasks. She's great at spotting. Okay. She's great at setting fires and doing HE spam. And, well, it's 3 tasks really, because the torpedoes aren't bad either. Okay. They don't hit very hard, but they reload every 70 seconds. So every 70 seconds or so, you get your torpedoes back. Very useful indeed. Now we're going to have a go at the Fusion, but unfortunately he disengages. And he's protected by the Duke of York. So, though I'd like to chase him into his smoke, the Duke of York has a scary battery of cruiser-like guns that will completely wreck us. So we want to stay away from the Duke of York. So I'm backing off. There's the Duke of York now. He's fired. He's missed. We turned out just in time to avoid his salvo. And I believe those were shells from the Tallinn, who's somewhere on the flank going along the 1 line. Now, again, I'm on a team that's not doing very well. We lost a lot of ships early. It's another blowout match, which is quite a common thing now in World of Warships, where you get these fast matches that are over super quick. I'm sending some torpedoes at the Duke of York. If you stay out of trouble, you can get some credits, good credits and good XP out of these blowout matches with this ship. But I'm being distracted by the Lexington, and this proved fatal because we just lost our Eisenhower. I'm just passing his hulk now. And what's up ahead of me? A radar cruiser. Now, I failed to notice he'd moved up on the mini-map. I also was way too busy concentrating on the Duke of York's position and the Lexington's planes. And now I'm basically toast. Okay, so use your mini-map. Glance down to that mini-map at all times. Even when it's really stressful situation, you want to just quickly have a look at the mini-map and ask yourself, are there any other threats in the area? Now, I took out the Oland. I took out the Oland, that's a good one. I think I'm losing my mind here. I took out the Duke of York, but unfortunately the Fusion got me after I was significantly weakened by their Tallinn. And that, unfortunately, was the end of the match. But you can see we racked up almost 120,000 damage. It was a pretty good game, even if it ended in a defeat for us. And we would have gained quite a lot of XP, quite a lot of credits, and done a fairly decent job. Okay, and we're top of the team. We were doing our job, spotting targets and all the rest of it. Unfortunately, the rest of the team weren't quite up to the task, and we fell over fast. It was a blowout. Okay, we did almost 70k with the torpedoes. That's nuts. 10k floodings, 25k fires. Okay, you get the idea. This ship has the potential to be great, but it's only as good, unfortunately, as the person who's sailing her. Okay, so let's do another one. This time we're on the Atlantic. Okay, it's a CV match, and the balance of ships seems a little fairer. Okay, there's no submarines to worry about. We do have CVs to worry about. There are tier 10s in this match. Quite a lot of tier 10s in this match. And this is a common theme. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a really good look at the gap between A and B. I'm going to patrol those two caps. I'm not going to commit early. I'm not going to rush into the cap and get myself killed. I am literally just going to have a good look around those caps and light targets for the team, minding that gap at G3, G4. Oh, and of course, shoot down as many planes as possible. So I just drop speed and turn in so that I can avoid the cargo torps. There we go. And I've shot 3 planes down. And of course, in the Venezia can avoid those torps now. The Bismarck isn't under threat, and we've removed those planes so that our team has no pressure on them at the moment from the cargo, because the cargo is very good. Her torpedo bombers are super strong. So I bring it up to the edge of the cap, and I'm literally going to reverse into the cap and keep lighting targets for the team. We do have a carrier doing that job as well. And you'll notice that our Yorktown has put a fighter patrol right on top of me, which is great. I love him for that, because that gives me protection and at the same time shows me what enemy ships are in the immediate vicinity. So if you play CVs and you're doing this for your destroyers, keep doing it for your destroyers, because destroyers win matches if they stay alive. If they get sunk, it can mean the end of the match for your team, because we are usually the eyes and ears of the team. I mean, in this occasion, when CVs are in the match, the CVs become the eyes, if you like, and the DDs can step back a little bit from that role. But it's still important for us to keep targets lit when there are no planes in the area, because our CV can't be everywhere at once. Now, I've sent those torps for the Umahari. If he keeps that course, he's going to get hit. And now I'm opening fire on more planes that are coming from the cargo using the Oland's considerably reasonable AA. Because I'm not under threat. I'm by an island. Sure, the Umahari could take a pot shot at me, and there he goes. But I've reduced my speed. I've made myself hard to hit. Those cargo torpedoes are going to miss me by a mile. The Umahari missed me. If you look top right, you'll see so far we've spotted 2,904 damage for the team, so 2,904 spotted, and we've tanked 149,400 damage. Now I'm going to light the gap. That's this little bit here, and I'm going to keep that gap lit for the team whilst keeping half an eye on A. They've got an Akatsuki on A at the moment who's capping. He's just dropped off cap, and our Shimakaze is doing a fine job out at I2 of keeping him lit. So the Akatsuki's backed off, because let's face it, what gunboat likes to be lit? And we have a lot of ships here that are going to fire at him.
Critical engine damage.
And once more the cargo is back, and once more he's focusing me, and that's really good news for the rest of the team. You want him to focus you, because if he's focusing you, he's not shooting your teammates, he's not dropping bombs or torpedoes on your teammates, and that's great. That's wonderful. If their CV continues to focus me, they're going to lose the match. They really straight up will lose the match. He really should be picking other targets, but he's picking on me, which is great. Okay, so there's the Castilia. We've got an Iparanga coming in. There's a Duncan and a North Carolina. There's a lot of ships here, basically. So I'm just going to keep an eye on the gap for the team and make sure nobody tries to push it. If they're going to push that gap, I want my team to know it's going to happen. So I'm staying on site between the two caps, just patrolling between A and B, getting spot damage, 4K spot for the team so far, tanking damage, 224,500 tanked so far, shooting planes down, 15,459 plane damage done, and 7 planes shot down so far. Where am I getting all this information from? Top right corner of the screen. So if you look over at the top right, you can see right now I'm shooting at planes, so that damage is going up. People are shooting at me, so that damage is going up. But I'm keeping the CV honest, and at the same time I'm keeping an island between me and the Iparanga and the Duncans so that they can't dev strike me. And constantly sending torpedoes into the gap to try and dissuade them from pushing through. Because we really don't want them pushing through the gap. Not on my watch, anyway. So we put some fire down on the Iparanga. And then I'm going to move away. Something's capping B, and you can see the enemy is incredibly strong at C. They've captured C, and they are there in force. They've got a Shimakaze and a La Pampa, okay, that are heading up that team. So 2 destroyers to think about. And we've got a Bismarck and a Missouri in the area, okay. So I'm going to stay around B right now. And what I do next is I start thinking about getting the Shimakaze and the La Pampa destroyed. So we're going to need to light them for the team and keep an eye on the Castilia. But the scores are pretty even at the moment, but we do hold 2 caps. And here comes the Kaga again with more torpedo bombers. Constantly under pressure from the Kaga. I'm going to belay some torps for the Iparanga, so I do that. And then we open up on the Kaga as he comes into spot range. He's dropping on the Bismarck, and we're just trying to shoot down some more planes so that he doesn't drop so many torps. But unfortunately, no, the Bismarck joined in, and we did manage to shoot some planes down. So he only gets 3 torps in the water, and the Bismarck only swallows 2 of them. Alright, looking at the torps on the Iparanga, those look great. And we get a good solid 3 hits and a flood. Now you can see something's capping B, so at this point I turn and I head back towards B, because my suspicion is it's either the La Pampa or the Shimakaze, as it hasn't been lit. There's also a Napoli heading down the map, who will be my next torpedo target. And a battleship right in the corner, that famous new steel battleship, the Wilhelm, moving silently down the 10 line. Okay, there's the Napoli. So I literally just turn around and send a nice tight spread of torps straight at him. Now, this time I'm hoping that he won't change course, because I want to do a precise surgical strike on the Napoli. So I've launched them in a really tight spread. There's the Shimakaze. He's being lit by our carrier, and he's just moving back into smoke. I don't fire on him because I don't want the enemy fleet to know my position right now. They know I'm operating in the area, but they don't know exactly where I am. So I'm holding my fire. I can see the La Pampa's moving up. He's moving up to... yeah. And there goes the Napoli.
We sank an enemy cruiser.
Okay, so the Napoli's dealt with. And now what I'm going to do is I'm literally going to turn into B and see if I can... There's the La Pampa. I can find the La Pampa and the Shimakaze. Right, now technically, in a gunfight, I think we can win. So we're going to leave some torps in the water for him. And then what we'll do when we get close is we'll open fire on the La Pampa. And I'm getting some assistance from the fleet. The Venezia opened fire on him and brought his health down nice and low. I do believe the Bungo joined in on that one. And down he goes. And then we just slap a heel on, avoid the avoid the pattern bombing from the Wilhelm. The arrest, yeah, the Dutch pattern bombing battleship that you can buy for steel. So it's a new one, new ship. Quite sick, actually. Quite a nasty ship to deal with. But we've dealt with the La Pampa. We dealt with the Napoli. We're going to put some torpedoes down now for him. And again, my friend, the Karga, unbelievably still going at me. Now, we've shot 12 of his planes down so far. We've done 25,000 damage to his aircraft. And we shoot down another plane. And he's just buzzing me at the moment, trying to get me killed. And we shoot down his final plane. And he's already sunk. But that's the thing about carriers. If they've got planes in the air after they've been sunk, they can still spot for the team. And he chose me. Which is good, because that tells me I got under his skin. I played mind games with him, and I won. We shot 14 planes down in the end. And kept him focused on us. So he wasn't giving the team a hard time. And this is what you're doing. You're hustling. The Oland is a bit of a hustler. So, how did we do? Oh, look at that. Almost top of the team. Over 2,000 XP. And we did 80,000 damage to ships. 46,000 with the torpedoes. 6k fires. 9k floodings. Pretty strong, pretty strong. She is a good jack of all trades and a bit like a Marmite sandwich. Some people like Marmite sandwiches and some people don't. I don't think she's a ship for everyone. She is a bit slow. You have to be very map aware using this boat. If you don't have map awareness, she won't be the ship for you, that's for sure. But if you do, you can have a lot of fun in the Oland. Let's have a quick look at the build. Okay, so I spent the first 10 points in the usual way and then took Adrenaline Rush, filled the tubes, and then main battery and AA specialist. After that, I would finish the build with consumable enhancements. That's your classic pan-European torpedo boat build, right? Right there. It's a sort of hybrid. You build into the guns a little bit, into the torpedoes. Or you could save those 2 points and take consumable specialist and grease the gears. Thank you all for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you.